Good morning and welcome to the University of Massachusetts, Boston. My name is Ed Lambert. It's a great privilege for me to welcome all of you to our campus here today on behalf of our campus community and our Division of Government Relations and Public Affairs. Welcome and good morning. This campus, over the course of our history, has been the scene of great events. As folks know, we recently hosted President Obama and a national delegation here on Monday for the opening of the Edward M. Kennedy Institute. For all of the events that we host here on this campus, I think I can say with great certainty that this particular community breakfast is one of the best loved and anticipated events on the calendar for those of us here on this great campus. It is a celebration of our relationship with the community. It is a celebration of the legacy of Robert Quinn, and it is an affirmation of the charge given to us by our founders to stand with the city. And so 50 years ago, when Bob Quinn helped lead and organize the effort to create a University of Massachusetts Boston, he did so with the complete knowledge that there was a need to provide access to high-quality education for students from Boston. But he also very clearly understood the impact of having a public urban research university in our capital city. And so when our students go out and volunteer, when we on our campus form and maintain partnerships with schools and nonprofits and the business community, when we commit to project labor agreements so that we can hire Boston residents for all of the great construction that you see happening here on campus, when our faculty and our students do research in the community to benefit neighborhoods, and when we support local organizations with financial and human resources, we do so because of the legacy of Bob Quinn. We do so because we have a chancellor who drives us to do that and who believes it is our responsibility to commit to service. We do so because we have a great team in community relations and community partnerships and across this campus who know how to connect the dots to make sure that we are not just here on some ivory tower, but that we are engaged with our neighborhoods. We do so because our students and our faculty have passion for this mission. And we do so because our elected officials, with the great leadership here in the city of Boston, displayed by Mayor Walsh, the city councilors, our legislative delegation, who not only call us out into the community to serve, but then support the resources to make sure that that service is effective. We do so because we are inspired by our awardees today and by everyone in this room. And so thank you very, very much for that relationship, for that inspiration, and for joining us today for this celebration. It is now my great privilege to bring to the podium someone who needs no introduction in this room or any room in the city of Boston. And in fact, many of you may recall several years ago, the university here gave an honorary degree to Steven Tyler from Aerosmith. And when you have an important to manage project on a campus, you hand it to Gail Hoban. And so Gail was asked to ensure that Mr. Tyler was where he needed to be, in the right place at the right time, et cetera, et cetera. And across this great city that evening, as news coverage of our commencement was displayed in living rooms in every neighborhood, tens of thousands of people were heard to utter the phrase, "Who's that guy standing with Gail Hoban?" Ladies and gentlemen, let me bring forward to you our Assistant Vice Chancellor for Community Relations, Gail Hoban.
Good morning, everyone. Well, I'd like to welcome everybody to our 29th annual community breakfast. It's wonderful to see so many familiar faces and to look upon some new friends. Each year, it has become increasingly difficult to select recipients for these awards. This is a tribute to the men and women in our communities, so many of them giving of themselves for the benefit of their community. I want to thank this year's selection committee, and I also want to offer my special congratulations to Annie Wilcox and to Willie Ostiguy. The university has been on a tremendous 50th year celebration journey this past year, and I want to thank all of you for your wonderful well wishes and your continued support as we move forward together, making UMass Boston your first choice. Now I'd like to introduce to you your host for this morning's breakfast, a man who has been leading us on this journey, a man building a strong future for the university while still remaining committed to our urban mission, our Chancellor, J. Keith Motley.
So, Gail, the mayor wanted me to let you know that this podium goes up and down. So, good morning, everybody. I am so grateful for your presence this morning. We are so grateful. We're also so grateful that you know that you are home. I want to thank Gail, and I love the story, Ed, that you told about Gail, because that's the feeling I get when I go out in the community with her. It's like, who is that guy walking around with Gail Hobart? And I'm so grateful for that, because it gets you into some wonderful places. Even the parking lots here at the University of Massachusetts, Boston. Good morning and welcome to this Commonwealth's capital city, public research university, the University of Massachusetts, Boston. I am so grateful that you decided to come over for breakfast. I was also grateful when I walked in and I saw that it wasn't one of those continental kind of stops for you, that we have plenty for you to eat today and plenty for you to take in today, and we're so honored by that. I want to take a moment this morning to not only recognize all of the folk here who have played a tremendous role in this university, but I'd like to first start by saying to all the people that had something to do with putting this breakfast together, all those that are serving us today, all those who cooked this food today, thank you. Let's give them a round of applause. As was mentioned, this has been an action-packed day out here on this peninsula over the last few days. I've had a chance to hang out with His Honor quite a bit. Mayor, we're so grateful to have you. When Gail was introducing me, I thought she was introducing you. When she talked about someone who cares about this place, someone who walks this place all the time, and someone who has the character of this place, she's talking about you, Mayor Walsh, and we're so grateful for your presence. But I have to admit, I'm also grateful that you always have the wise counsel to bring such an extraordinary individual with you every time you show up to our events. We're so grateful to have you here this morning. Thank you for being here. We're so grateful to you. I also want to recognize someone who we love on this campus. Claudita Quinn, stand up for a moment so we can see you. You are an unbelievable part of this University of Massachusetts Boston family. I've been going back in the archives because this is our 50th year, and you've shown up quite a bit over the years on this campus with your husband, who we love. I have the honor of being in his building every day, and there's not a moment that I don't remember him standing on this stage for this event during one of the darkest periods of my emotional well-being, because I had to leave here for the longest interview in the history of the University of Massachusetts Boston, to be its chancellor. But yet, your husband told me, why are you upset? And he said it publicly, because you're going to be back here in about 18 months. And 18 months later, I was back here on this campus, something I didn't even believe. And so not only was he an extraordinary man, he could see into our future in a way that made a tremendous difference. And so thank you, thank the family that are here. I tried to get you guys out of school for the rest of the day. It didn't work. I'm going to try to extend the breakfast a long time, but if I don't, blame the mayor. He's probably got more things to go on and do, okay? But I'm grateful to have you all here as well. Let's give the Quinn family a round of applause. Let me start out by saying every single one of you here is a special guest. period. I want to make sure that I mention some folk, but if I do not mention you, and you happen to know that I should know better, understand that I do know better, but we're going to do that collective thing this morning. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Know that your presence means the world to me. All of our state representatives that are here, Nick Collins, Dan Hunt, Russell Holmes. Also, I mentioned that we were so grateful to have Ms. Higgins here with us this morning. Thank you for being here. Counselor Charles Yancey. Also, I understand that there are others in the room that you're going to let me know about in a few moments, I'm sure, staff. They're running up now with names. I'm going to drop it on the floor. No, I won't do that. Our Commissioner, William Evans, is here. Thank you. Superintendent-in-Chief, William Gross is here. Boston Fire Commissioner Joseph Finn. Sheriff Steve Tompkins up in here. We're honored to have all of you here. To the members of our Board of Visitors and other friends, our neighbors, our colleagues, welcome. Thank you as well to the members of my team. All of the University of Massachusetts Boston family that's in this room today, stand up so we can acknowledge you. Thank you. Stand up, UMass Boston. I just want to say thank you. I have not had a chance to thank them, and this is a community breakfast. Over the last week and all the months leading up to it, we have been preparing for the president's visit and all kinds of things that happened this week. 2 openings of buildings, many more to come. Roads going back and forth in ways that even confuse me, right? And they have not complained, they've got it done. So thank you to all of my colleagues for that. I also want to thank you for forging all the connections that have led to every single one of our community members coming today. This advances our mission. Our public mission as a university is first, last, and the most important thing to us as individuals who want to serve here and as individuals who want to serve you. And so I'm grateful for that. To Vice Chancellor for Government Relations and Public Affairs, Ed Lambert, to Gail, and to Phil Carver and Alkia Powell. Thank you all for today. So Dan Cullinane is here. State Rep Dan Cullinane, thank you, Dan, for being here. Also, Councilor Tim McCarthy is here. And as folk come in, we will definitely acknowledge the fact that they're here. But we're going to do what we have come here to do today, because this is a special day and we're honoring 2 individuals who reflect values that are central to our mission at the University of Massachusetts Boston. Values that encompass community service, selflessness, access and opportunities, and possibilities. But before we go on, let me just take a moment to remember someone. As I mentioned Robert Quinn before, but I want to remember him. We lost him last January to the ancestors. He left a legacy of community service, and his leadership remains constant. Everywhere I go, I hear about the general this, the general that. Every time I get ahead of myself and begin to think that I'm, at least if I'm not all that, I'm all something, someone evokes Mr. Quinn, and that ends the conversation with me. The values important to Mr. Quinn are embodied and expressed perfectly in the 2 award recipients whom we celebrate today. By recognizing these individuals, we continue Mr. Quinn's legacy, and it is our privilege to do so. And we're going to do it over and over and over again. And so I want to invite someone up to the stage, Miss Claudina Quinn, who you might have seen last throwing out the baseball at the Red Sox game as she warmed up and got loose. For Massachusetts Day, they honored the Quinn family last year. She stood side by side with her husband in their advocacy for compassion, community service, and we're so fortunate that she continues to show her support and is here today to help celebrate with today's recipients. But I'm also going to ask the mayor to come up now as he gets his cream for his coffee. Come on up here, Mayor. You're going to help us with these awards today, too. Harry's waving at us back there. He wants us to look up. So the mayor has good legs, so he'll be able to stand through all of this with us and help us. And him and I always ad-lib together, and so does Mrs. Quinn. So thank you for accepting those flowers on behalf of this whole university community. And so, Mayor, would you like to say a few words before we give these awards?
Yeah. That's right. Thank you.
Yes. Okay.
I'm in trouble now.
Leadership lesson 101. When your lady brings something to the stage, whether you want it or not, you take it. You might be mayor of the city of Boston.
Oh, I know. You have no idea.
You understand? So listen to your big brother.
You have no idea. Thank you very much, and it is an honor to be here today. I know all the electeds were recognized earlier, and Commissioner Evans and the Boston Police Department, Chief Willie Gross as well, and a lot of the command staff, a lot of captains here. Thank you very much for being here today. This is an incredible event that happens every single year, and Bob Quinn is certainly somebody that I have tremendous respect for and look up to. And I know they give him the title General. I prefer the title Mr. Speaker because that's something that's real important to me as a member of the House of Representatives. And I was fortunate enough to have his seat in the House of Representatives, and now Danny Hunt's fortunate enough to have his seat in the House of Representatives. And we follow a strong legacy there in Mr. Quinn. You know, what he fought for, and he loved this campus, this university. And actually yesterday, when we cut the ribbon on the science building, I thought about Bob Quinn, how proud he'd be of that building, and talk about what he brought to this institution. He'd be proud to see what's happening in the back with the General Academic Building that's being built. He'd be proud to see that the 2 ways are shut down now to move the utilities out. He'd be proud to see the growth of this campus and what's happening here. And he saw a lot of it. He saw where this campus was going. So I want to thank his family that's here. He loved this university. He loved his neighborhood across the bay in Savin Hill, across the boulevard. And his legacy certainly lives on, both through his wife and his children and his grandchildren. So I want to thank the entire Quinn family as well for the great work that you do for all of us. I'm just going to take a minute. His legacy also lives on through Annie Wilcox, whose career has been incredible with the Boston Police Department and what she's done, not just as a police officer, but going far above and beyond her duty. I remember when I first met Annie, I was a state representative, and her area, the B3, was in my district, and I went over and met Captain Claiborne, and we were talking about different things, and I watched what Annie did, and I watched what the officers of B3 did. It's incredible, because what my barometer was what was happening at C11, and they were doing some incredible things at C11. And then when I went over to B3, Annie's work and what she did with summer jobs and with teenagers and helping people and helping families and coordinating events and making sure at the Christmas party there was thousands of people there. Literally thousands of kids show up at the Christmas party, Halloween parties, and being there when families need it the most. People don't see that all the time when it comes to police officers. They might read something in the paper and they run with what's going on in the paper. They don't see the work that happens behind the scenes every single day. And I would say that our police department, B3, Annie Wilcox, is an ambassador for us to really see what actually the work they do. because no one's reporting about wrapping Christmas toys. No one's reporting about trying to go shopping to make sure that the toys are there for the kids. No one's reporting the families that are suffering that Annie reaches out to, and people like Annie, we're able to set that bar very high for young police officers to come behind and say, it's not simply about doing a job as far as being a police officer and arresting people. It's about how do you do community relations. And Annie Wilcox is that person who is somebody who I am very proud to have known as a Boston police officer, and very honored that as a state representative I had a chance to work with her and the whole office. And I know your office is scattered throughout here, and I stole one of them, Jose, out of the office, and I stole Dennis Rory out of C11, so I apologize for that. But when you think about it, you think about the opportunities in my office alone, and the mayor's office has details, and we have a security details called, and two of the people I tapped was Dennis Rory. Why? Because he's a great police officer, and he also was a great community officer, reaching out to the community. When Dennis moved on, I reached out and grabbed Jose Ruiz. Why? Because Jose is a great police officer, but more importantly, Jose is a person who's connected to the community. That's why we did that, and that's what our police department is today, and that's what Annie Wilcox is. So Annie, I want to thank you and congratulate you today. The other recipient is another dear friend of mine, Willie Ostiguy, and I could go on for days and days and days about Willie Ostiguy. I think the best way of summing Willie up is when you have somebody in your family that has an addiction problem that's tearing the life out of the family, tearing the heart out of the mother, the heart out of the father, disrupting the brother, disrupting the sister, for years and years and years, somebody who's taking, stealing, not meaning to, but steals everything out of the family, sells it all. Somebody who's been family member in and out of detox, in and out of detox, in and out of detox, and the family doesn't know where to go, and the family hits rock bottom. What do? We don't know what to do. They call Willie Ostiguy. It's that simple. Willie comes over, works with the individual, follows up with the family. Doesn't get paid to do that. He does it he's done it tens of thousands of times, helping people. So mothers can sleep at night and not worry about where their son or daughter is. Where fathers can feel a little more comfortable, brothers and sisters can get reconnected to their family. That's what Willie Ostiguy has done. What has come from Willie Ostiguy? Recovery High School in Massachusetts. We have 4 recovery high schools in Massachusetts, where young people trying to get sober have an opportunity to go to a school and learn in a sober learning environment with other young people. On the board at the Gavin Foundation, working as the Gavin Foundation has expanded. The Gavin Foundation started as the Gavin House, and then it went to the 3-quarter house, and then it went to the Cushing House for girls and boys. Then it went to an outpatient facility, and then took over a gym, and you watch, I know John McGann is here, and you watch the Gavin Foundation grow. Willie Ostiguy has been one of the chair for the largest growth area in the history of the Gavin Foundation. He does that. And so many other things he's done. His job is at the fire department. I often laugh. He was the head of EAP at the fire department, and you know, where firefighters would call and get help. So then people would call Willie, who were not firefighters, and get help. And before you know it, Willie was the EAP guy for the entire state of Massachusetts. So I'm honored to have a friendship with Willie Ostiguy that I really can't express in words, just to tell him that I love you, Willie, for the great work you do. We couldn't get 2 better recipients. And I know some of the past recipients are in the room, and you're all great people. But when you talk about true legacy of helping people, these 2 individuals help people at the core where people need to be helped. And I want to congratulate both of you for the honor today of the great awards and recognition you're getting. And thank you very much.
And so let's get on with the awards. The recipient of our 2015 Robert F. Quinn Award for Outstanding Community Leadership has worked tirelessly for the betterment of this great city of Boston, touching the hearts of many along the way. Annie Wilcox, when you joined the Boston Police Department in 1987, as a civilian, you embraced the communities you were assigned to, including Mattapan, Dorchester, and you came to love the community and its people took up residence in your heart. During your 28-year career, you built bonds between residents and the Boston Police, helping organize the district's community meetings, building and maintaining the department's close relationship with local businesses, property managers, and social service agencies. Plan special programs for youth, like the B3 cleanup crew, which gave young people summer jobs. Summer jobs. Oh, I'm sounding like the mayor now. Summer jobs. And a way to earn their own money, which is so important to not just young people, but to everyone, but especially young people trying to understand which road to take. You went above and beyond in your work, helping to provide more than 800 youngsters with gifts at the district's annual Christmas party, raising $10,000 annually to send some 350 senior citizens on a cruise of Boston, so your work went across generations. Now retired from the department, but not retired from your work, you continue to help teenagers find work through a summer jobs program. Your coworkers have described you as always the first one ready to assist, a trailblazer, a role model, irreplaceable. In 2014, you were honored by, the Shattuck Public Service Award, and we got kind of jealous. So now it's our turn to honor you for your inspiring dedication, your boundless commitment to your community, and your selfless way with which you improve people's lives. We are proud to present to you Annie Wilcox, the 2015 Robert H. Quinn Award for Outstanding Community Leadership. Come on up here and receive your award. Turn around and take a picture here. Put the award around so they can see it. And if you tilt it a little bit, this shine won't go on it. Tilt it down, like that. Okay. If you want to. Oh, come on, we want you to speak. She want to know, does she have to speak? What do you all think? Yes, you have to speak. Get up here. Get up here. She gonna give me the message. Get up here and tell the message.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I thought I would feel nervous, but I see all my people here. So I feel just fine. But I am to Mrs. Quinn and her marvelous husband, to the mayor, our commissioner, our chief, and all my commanders and my friends. It is an honor to receive such a prestigious award. If the work I did in the community is noteworthy, it is because I worked under the command of amazing leaders who believed in me, gave me an opportunity, and allowed me to perform my duties. In my 27 years in the Boston Police Department, I had 5 leaders, and they are all here today. And if anyone deserved that award, it is them. Because no one is more important in an organization than its leader. 3 of them are retired. 1 worked for the Boston Police Academy, and 1 is at District B3. But I'm glad they're here because I just want to say thank you. Behind their badges are men with morals and integrity. They know the difference between right and wrong. They are dedicated to duty. They are drum major for law and order. They are an equal opportunity employer, and they always follow the golden rule. You can't get no better than that. In 18 years, in a nation where there's a lot of unrest because of alleged police brutality, the city of Boston should be proud to have a police department where there are checks and balances, transparency, and leaders who have the courage to stand against injustice. In 18 years, I worked for Bobby Johnson. I would like for you to meet him. Could you stand up, Super? I worked for 18 years with Superintendent Johnson. He was like a good parent. He took me from infancy to adulthood in the Boston Police Department. Working with him was like in a classroom. You wasn't gonna pass until you get it right. He believed that there was a correlation between knowledge and good service. Therefore, I hold a master's degree in criminal justice. He believed that I should know the rules and procedures, because he would always tell me, now you gotta know them, because if they bring you up on charges, it's gonna have to be against one of these, and rule 102 is the granddaddy. So I learned the rules and procedures. Then he encouraged me to reach for the stars. And if I should fall, I'll fall among, reach for the moon, and if I should fall, I'll fall among the stars. So when he left BFS and I could no longer go with him, I fell among the stars. Then I had Superintendent Dunford. Superintendent, he did not know I am from Memphis, Tennessee. Less than 50 years ago, my parents went to jail so that their 15 children could have an opportunity, a right to vote, a right to have a good education, a right to have fair jobs, a right to have a job because you were qualified, and a right to go through the front door of any restaurant. My parents were denied that privilege, but you restored my faith in humanity. You opened a locked door for me and let me through, and I just want to say thank you. When the Boston Youth Fund called and they said, we can hire kids with queries if we can find a supervisor, it was you, sir, who believed in me and let me have that job. And it's from you that I'm standing here today. Because if you had not opened that door for me, I would have never got the opportunity. You are an awesome person, and you are a superior officer. Superintendent Claiborne, I'm a female and a civilian. I'm not a police officer, although everybody think I am not a police officer. But he treated me as if I was a member of the Boston Police Department. You believed in me and opened windows of opportunities for me. I got the job of my dream to be a community service officer, serving the community that I love and embrace. And that was because of you. When I got that job, sir, it was like you had parted the Red Sea. And I just want to thank you. When Obama became president, you made sure that I was there. And you instructed me to take an at-risk youth with me so that that kid could see what could be if he obeyed his parents, got a good education, and lived above reproach. You never made a promise to me that you did not keep. You instilled something in me. I never felt like I was entitled to anything, but you believed in me, and you gave me an opportunity. And I just want to say thank you. In my last years, I worked for Captain Boyle. I would like for you to meet him. We call him the kid. And I just have to read mine, because I sort of forget sometimes. So when I saw the mayor, I take a note. I think I take mine. Let me see. By the time I got to work for Captain Boyle, I already knew what the value of good leadership. Because the men before him had left a blueprint. So I knew what was right and what was wrong, but Captain Boyle has the character of a great leader. He's kind, he's respectful, and his virtue, he's fair in his dealing with people, and his virtue personified that of the Boston Police Department. He takes pride in serving and protecting. His leadership style encouraged me to follow, and every now and then, he allowed me to walk with him, giving me a chance to be part of the plan-making process. The inroads that had been made for me by my other 3 commanders, it seemed to me that he stepped on the road, took a bulldozer, and made a 6-lane highway. I am so grateful for you, Captain Boyle. You made sure that the Dorchester, Mattapan community knew that they were not powerless. You introduced to us every person of color that held a high position in Boston, and not only Boston, but in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. We thank you for that, sir. I know that sometimes I am given credit for the senior boat cruise and the big number in the community meetings, but it was you. It was the planning and the great work that you put in there to make us want to work for you and follow you. And I just want to say thank you. Lieutenant Terigian, you are more than just the best event planner in the Boston Police Department. You know how to get things done through people. You made B3 a safe haven for kids at risk and the defenseless, and we thank you for that. At Christmas, you made sure that every needy kid had a hat, coat, and gloves. And when it's cold, that is a valuable item to have. And we just like to thank you for that. To my co-workers, and they are here. Detective Sullivan, please stand. Officer Thomas Griffith, Officer Jose Ruiz, Officer Cynthia Brewington, Officer Muriel Stacco, Officer Steve Parham, and Officer Pele James. I was a civilian in the office, yet they always treated me as if I was a part of the team. And I never once felt like I was disrespected, disconnected, and I just want to thank you for that. To the Dorchester Mattapan community, it was a pleasure to serve you. And I just want to say thank you for your support. In the words of Gladys Knight, if I should ever write my life story, you'll be there between every a page of pain and glory, because you are the best thing that ever happened to me. Thank you.
Hey, you just dropping the mic? She just dropped the mic. Wow. And she dropped the mic on the way off. Boom. Take that, Chancellor. The Chancellor's Award for Long-Standing Community Commitment and Service recognizes individuals representing community partners who have distinguished themselves in service. The recipient of this year's Chancellor's Award is a shining example of the kind of public spirit this award embodies. Lieutenant Willie Ostiguy, after a stellar 41-year career with the Boston Fire Department and 28 years of heading up the department's Employee Assistance Program, you have helped countless individuals in the throes of substance abuse and addiction. You have been called an EAP pioneer and one of the most dynamic and groundbreaking individuals the recovery community has ever known. Your model for EAP programs for firefighters has been copied, which you know is the most cherished form of flattery, all over this country and beyond. What has been referred to as your can-do, must-do approach to one of the most pressing problems of our communities, one that we face consistently, has led to the opening of 4 Massachusetts recovery schools, providing an integrated high school curriculum with the development of life skills to students recovering from addiction. One of these schools bears your name, something that you have selflessly described as quite humbling. It's a magnificent thing to see it while you're here. You continue to live out your commitment to help those battling addiction by serving on the board of the Gavin Foundation, a South Boston addiction services operation, and since 2013, you have served on Boston Mayor Marty Walsh's advisory committee for the city's Office of Recovery Services. I knew he was a smart man. Your service extends beyond Boston and encompassed 6 weeks of counseling the firefighters at Ground Zero, and then again in New Orleans for Hurricane Katrina. Your many honors include a 2001 FEMA Recognition Award for your assistance to New York City firefighters and its citizens following the 9/11 terror attack, and the 2007 Labor Assistance EAPA Award for your role in establishing the recovery schools. Now, it is our privilege here at the University of Massachusetts, Boston, to honor you for your sense of compassion and inspiring lifelong dedication to uplifting people, especially those working to overcome addiction. I am delighted to present the 2015 Chancellor's Award for Long-Standing Community Commitment and Service to Willie Ostiguy. Come on up here and receive your award. You're in this picture, Mr. Quinn. You're going to be right here. Yep, you're right here. Point that down. Yep.
I am humbled by the award for a variety of reasons. I really appreciate it. 2 years ago, I retired from the fire after 41 years, and it was a great career. I appreciate every minute of it. Did a lot of good things. One of the things I forgot to do at my retirement party, and I have a higher power like Marty does, and was to, at that party, I congratulated everybody but my wife. And I've been listening to it for 2 years. So this is my opportunity to thank her.
Give you an opportunity.
Stand up, hon. Thank you. Now I can go home. No. At any rate, it's been an honor to help others. I'm from the school, like the mayor is, that much has been given to us and much is expected of us. Not when it's convenient, but when it's necessary. So kind of old school. I think that's one of the reasons Marty put me on the council, because there's a lot of fluff there and they need somebody that's a little Cro-Magnon, and I'm that person. Anybody that knows me knows I'm a little stuck. I got one foot in one world and one in another. But both those worlds are helping others. So I'm fortunate. I can't say enough about my career. That's another whole thing. And I can't go through the people that have helped me. And it was over. I come on at 22, and at 65 I left, and I'm looking like, now I'm the old guy. What happened? But I can reflect back on it. Gave my family a great life, gave me a great life, gave me an opportunity to help others. I just come back from actually Toronto. We're doing some work with their fire department. Because the biggest thing now in the fire service, I still consult for the International, is we're getting into the area of suicide. And every one of them is related to substance abuse, and some mental health issues too. But so we're touching on that, I think I'm doing more work retired, we just come back from Florida, and I thought I lost my phone. With that, in her wisdom, she hid my phone. That's what Marty should do. And Laurie, take a note from Dottie. But I'm fortunate. I've got a ton of friends. I got a ton of family. My daughter's here. She graduated from UMass. My sister's here. She got a graduate degree from UMass. So there's some history with it. When I was a little kid, this was actually the dump. It's come a long way from it being a dump. You did a great job.
Thank you.
At any rate, I really appreciate this award. I can't thank you enough. I'm going to continue what I was doing. I'm fortunate. I've been involved with the Gavin Foundation for pretty close to 45 years now. And like I said, I'm a fortunate individual, and I'm from the school that, if somebody was kind enough to help me and put me in the right direction, and shame on me if I don't do the same. And it's a little bit old school, but in that sense, old school is good. Old school needs to be addressed. My pal Joe Finn is not here because his mom passed. So when you think about it, keep her in your prayers, and thank you very much.
So we learned a lot today. We learned to acknowledge that other person in your life. We learned that it's okay to be old school. So as I journey more into that old school world, young fellas, letting you know that that's pretty cool too. But we also learned that we have a great responsibility to live up to Mr. Quinn's legacy. And an example set by today's awards recipients is so high. But I also want you to know we're joined today by other award recipients. If you've received this award before, please stand up so we can give you a round of applause. All of you have shown us how, when you're empowered, you can impact a community. And so we're so grateful for that. You can elevate communities. You also show us together that we can accomplish great things. Our university needs its connections to this community. just as the community can benefit from being with us. In January, this university learned that we were selected to receive the 2015 Carnegie Community Engagement Classification in recognition of our commitment to building productive community partnerships. We understand the reciprocity of that. We do not stand here thinking that we're all that without you. It goes both ways. We learn from you. We work with you. Our public mission endears us to you. And so we're so grateful to you. This is not the first time we received the award. We were grateful for 2015, but we want it to be our norm here. At this university, serving our community is part of our DNA. 2 years ago, we partnered with the Suffolk County District Attorney's Office and the Boston Police Department to help revamp a curriculum for overcoming violence program to make sure that we were on track with that. Boston Police Department now tells us that this program is having an impact. More young people are talking to each other first, and we're so grateful for that. There's been great progress. Another initiative is students from our Honors College partnered with Mayor Marty Walsh and his office to explore recommendations for revitalizing Dorchester's iconic Strand Theater. They didn't stop at the theater. They went next door and then next door and next door and next door to that. And they visioned a community that needed to work together in a way that will be tremendously beneficial to all of us. And so, we are out there in that community. Our Dean of the School for Global Inclusion and Social Development, Bill Kiernan, is working on Governor Baker's task force to develop a strategic plan to address chronic unemployment among certain populations. It's across generations, it's across cultures, it's across human beings, and it has to be impacted. Over in the School for Environment, we started a new graduate program in urban planning and community development. It's not too late to come back and get a degree at your public university. Learning is a lifetime endeavor. Annie came up here and talked about all the learning that she had over the years, so much so that no one should call you, your life's work doesn't have a title on it. Oh, look at the chancellor. No. The soul is Keith. And all those individuals like you in this room that have touched that soul over the years, that have allowed each of you to go on and develop and do the great things that you do. That's what today is about. Tom Lyons is here. Chairs the Congressional Medal of Honor Society Host Committee for an annual convention and the Patriot Award dinner, which is coming to Boston in September. People that have received the Congressional Medal of Honor. So Tom, they sent the young boy here the other day. I had to let him know you were old school. He's running this stuff to me, he's 29. You know I'm among the youngest, but I did my research. There's a 22-year-old. So I let him know that 29 to a 22 is old school. The old school guys are running the convention. It's coming to your campus, Chancellor, so I'm gonna try to help fix that. I wanted to also remind him that I'm kind of old school. Might not look like it, because you know it doesn't crack. He's also a former Quinn Award winner. Our university is proud to be in the conversation to partner with those Congressional Medal of Honor recipients. We're privileged to have all of you here. On April 29th, we invite you back. I know you're saying, but Chancellor, we've been here all weekend. We were here yesterday, we're here all weekend, the Kennedy's getting ready to open up. Remember, the Edward M. Kennedy Institute is free for any child in the schools in Massachusetts. And I don't even think we're taking IDs. I'm not telling you anything, but if you got some children from out of town that aren't from Massachusetts and you want to take them in there, they're school age, they go in to see an unbelievable experience. And so we're having our friends and neighbors annual community meeting from 6 to 7:30 here on April 29th, right in this campus center ballroom. I don't know if we're going to have the same kind of good food, but I know from 6 to 7:30 it'll be something for you to eat. And just a final note, some of you joined us for our ribbon cutting ceremony for the new integrated science complex, the building that hugs you when you come on this campus, that will never block the view of the Quinn building as you come on this campus. Because Mr. Quinn's building is one of the first things that you see still when you come on this campus, because the new way of coming on our campus is turning left. We're teaching people to do that now. And you'll be turning left into a garage. And then you'll be walking through the campus, through the Quinn building and others. And all that will be down to level, and you'll see an unbelievably landscape walk to the ocean. And from this ocean to the world, all kinds of contributions from each and every one of you. So come out on the 29th and be a part of that. The ribbon cutting ceremony was beautiful yesterday. It was a great day to showcase all that we're doing here. And I love the fact that it's our first building in 40 years that was built for an academic purpose. But it gave you all a chance to see what we've been doing quietly over here on this peninsula. We know it's hard to get to. But once you get here, we know we got you. So know that you're welcomed here at your home, your university, the only one in this great city that is yours. You own it. Your dollars are working on this campus every day. 140 countries represented, over 17,000 students here, or close to. 90 different languages being spoken, most of them right from your community, but they come here and they stay here. A research university. It came from a dump, as someone said. I'm going to make it even worse than that when I start telling this story nationally. It'll be whatever a word is for worse than a dump, because when you come here and you see what we are now, you understand the transformational change. But we will never lose our soul. And what is our soul? Our soul is serving you and partnering with you and being committed to you. Our founder said, stay and stand with this city. Mr. Quinn said, be equal to or better than the best. Mr. Quinn said, make sure that students can trip over opportunity as they come onto your campus. So when they trip, put down something so they don't break their neck, and then lift them up so that they can lift up others in the community. That's what Mr. Quinn said. And so we stand here today with you, prepared to do that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And to those of you from the trades, we're honored to be the only campus that has committed itself to a project labor agreement. That means that more people of color are working on every one of our sites. More all union workers who are working out here. People working from your neighborhoods. All those kinds of statistics. So when you see the brilliant buildings, know the people that are building are right from your neighborhood. And we're grateful for that. Finally, community engagement is about creating possibilities. And as you can see together, we can make so much possible. My heartfelt thanks to each of you for coming today, for your continued support of this university, for your enthusiasm, for your notes, for your critiques, for understanding that when you own something, you should invest in it. Your intellectual capital, your service, your great ideas, your purpose, your ability to keep us walking in the manner that we should together. And so to our honorees today, we are honored by your presence. We are made more noble by your work and your deeds. And we will work every day to model here on this campus the legacies that you've created, and then connect those to those who will walk into the future. You are such an unbelievable gift to us because you are a gift to our future. And that future is walking around out here every day. And so thank you, thank you, thank you. Enjoy yourselves. Say hello to somebody that you don't know on your way out the door today. Connect, reconnect, and understand you're always welcomed out here on this peninsula. Have a great day.